also get in with a loss, and then a loss by Dallas at home tonight to St. Louis. But they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about a win over Philadelphia. And we're welcoming you to the NFL on Fox. Sunday football here in the city of brotherly love. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Troy Aikman and Pam Oliver coming up. Well, the objective and the goal was clear-cut for the Redskins after that 5-6 start. Win their final 5 and they get to 10-6, and they have a shot to get into the postseason. They've won 4 in a row. Now they're looking for their 5th in a row with the Eagles standing in their way. And the reason why they have a shot at getting into the playoffs is because of what they have done in the month of December. Their rush yards per game, their points per game, the turnover differential. Troy Aikman, you look at the way the Redskins have played, and they have earned their position here today, where with a victory, they're in the postseason.
Yeah, Joe, and you talk about playoffs. I mean, this team has basically been in playoff mode now going on 5 weeks. They had to win the last 4 in order to get themselves in this position. The thing that's impressive to me, not only have they been able to win those games, but they've gotten better each and every week. Now, they're coming off of 2 emotional wins, both versus Dallas and then last week versus the Giants. The concern for the Redskins is there going to be an emotional letdown coming into this ball game against an opponent that they clearly should be able to beat?
I will quote N.D. Kalu, who said, "Misery loves company." He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're eliminated. They're long gone. They'd love nothing more than to end the season right here for the Redskins.
And I think if they're going to do it, I think it's going to have to be coming from their defense. I think they match up pretty well against this Redskin offense. But the one concern for Redskins is Mark Brunell's health. He injured his knee last week. I talked to him just moments ago. He says it's given him some problems. If he doesn't take any hits, he thinks he'll be okay. But we could very easily see Patrick Ramsey before this day's over.
We know that at this moment we're welcoming in a new audience joining us after our on-camera laying it out with what's at stake today for the Washington Redskins. They're trying to win their 5th in a row, trying to get to 10-6, and trying, very simply put, to clinch a spot in the playoffs. It is crystal clear what's going on in the NFC right now as it stands, with the Redskins pumping themselves up on the sideline. If they win, they are in, and they will travel to Tampa Bay. A loss by the Redskins today to Philadelphia, and they have to hope that the Dallas Cowboys somehow lose tonight at home to St. Louis. Glad you're with us today on Fox. Bruce Perry, a Philadelphia native, on the return. Had a good week last week out in the desert. Crosses the 30. Knocked down by Prelo. A return of 25 yards. And the offense will come on the field for the Philadelphia Eagles. And Troy Aikman, it hasn't been pretty for the Philly Eagles on offense. I mean, this is a team guided by Mike McMahon that just is doing nothing with the football.
Yeah, and it's not all on Mike McMahon either. I mean, certainly he could play better than what he has, but obviously a number of changes along that offensive line. They're without Brian Westbrook. Of course, we all know what happened with Terrell Owens. When you talk about the injuries to the Eagles, primarily they're on the offensive side of the ball.
Play action, and McMahon's going to put it up. Has a receiver, Lewis, wide open behind the defense, and he's out of bounds inside Washington territory. A gain of 25 yards, and McMahon starts with the completion to Lewis.
That's a pretty good way to start the game for Mike McMahon. Historically, he has started out very slow. You're going to see Greg Lewis, and all he's running is a corner route. And Mike McMahon's able to lay it on the sideline and get him going. Greg Lewis is one of those receivers they've been very high on in recent years, but as he's had to be the number 2 or number 1 guy because of injuries, his play has not been very good.
They play action again. McMahon goes to that right side, and for Lewis again, and the pass is incomplete. Sean Springs back there defending for the Redskins. And let's look at this defense guided by Greg Williams. And when this season comes to an end at some point for the Redskins, there will be franchises lining up to ink Greg Williams as a new head coach.
Yeah, and rightfully so, Joe. I mean, you look back at last year and what Greg Williams was able to do with this unit defensively for the Redskins, and then the job he has again done this year. A quality football coach, and is going to make somebody a heck of a head coach.
Number 7 overall defense in the NFL, and flags and whistles prior to the snap.
False start, offense, number 49. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's the fullback Josh Perry. Well, this is an Eagles team that has won the NFC East 4 years in a row under Andy Reid. This year they are 0-5 against the division after last year going 6-0 against the division and ending up representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. One injury after another. No Todd Pinkston, no Hank Fraley, no Terrell Owens, no Donovan McNabb, Trey Thomas, Brian Westbrook, even fill-ins like Todd Hermans is out. 2nd down and 15. McMahon off the fingertips of Bruce Perry and incomplete. Perry got a hit from Marcus Washington after not hauling it in, and that brings up 3rd and 15.
You know, I think because of the injuries that you just mentioned, Joe, it's been very difficult for this Eagles staff to properly be able to evaluate Mike McMahon, and will he come back as the backup next year to Donovan McNabb. But when you've got that number of players that are not on the field, and then in addition to that having to shuffle the players each and every week, obviously there's not much continuity within this offense.
3rd down and 15. McMahon, pocket collapsing around him, trying to stay on his feet, and down he goes. First guy there was Salavea. Pearson Prelo was the second one in for Washington, and there is one of the Washington defensive players down. Looks like Ryan Clark.
Well, this defensive front for Washington has really elevated their play here over the last 3 to 4 ball games and have done a heck of a job of getting pressure on the quarterback and doing it without always having to bring secondary and linebacker blitzes.
Strong safety Ryan Clark is down and getting looked at by the training staff for Washington.
NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
14-11 left in this first quarter. There was a 25-yard completion on the first play from McMahon to Lewis, and then the drive stalled. So Landetta punts it away, and Antonio Brown will let it go over his head, and it checks out. That's why Methuselah has been punting for as long as he has. Are we taking a break? We are. Here comes Mark Brunell, bad knee and all. Pam Oliver on the other side of the break. No score. Our director Artie Kempner is trying to give Clinton Portis some more ideas for another outfit. He'd love to have a reason to drag another outfit out of the closet.
That might have been Southeast Jerome.
You think?
Well, he's been missing.
Well, we saw him earlier in the week. 13:56 left in this first quarter. First possession and a toss to Clinton Portis. A lot of dancing, but only 3 yards. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, in such an important game, the Washington Redskins leaving absolutely nothing to chance. Their big concern, frankly, is that field. Redskins equipment manager Brad Berlin describes it as birthday cake. It's all pretty on the outside, smushy and gooey on the inside. Said it's the worst thing going. They actually checked in with the New York Giants, who played at this field a few weeks ago, to get an idea about what kind of footing they will go with. They've decided that every player, with the exception of the quarterback and the running back, must go with 5/8-inch spikes. No exceptions.
2nd down and 7. Thanks, Pam. Handoff is to Portis, and he is wrapped up and brought down by Michael Lewis. No gain. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7. And we look at the offense for Washington, and they're playing with another old guy, Ray Brown, who is 43 years old, broke in with the St. Louis Cardinals in 1986, blocking and taking over Troy for a good one in Randy Thomas.
Yeah, and I asked him, Joe, before the game how long it took him this week to get his body back to where he felt good coming in. I mean, it's been a while since he's gotten that kind of play like he had last week, but surprisingly, he takes great care of himself. Obviously, that's why he's played as long as he has, and his body feels really good.
3rd down and 7. Brunell in trouble. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. Looking for Cooley. And there was pressure by Darwin Walker.
You know, we came into the game, Joe, talking about Mark Brunell and that injured right knee and how well it's going to be able to hold up. I know that he got a lot of work on Friday in practice. He did not do much on Wednesdays or Thursday, which is generally the day you get most of your work, and he got sore from it. So yesterday he was trying to work out the soreness, and he said he doesn't know how long he'll be able to go.
Derek Frost hits a good one. Dexter Wynn is returning punts. Mahe is inactive today. And Wynn gets it out to the 48. So good field position for the Eagles. Their second possession. There is no score early in Philadelphia. Washington trying to win to get in.
Fox NFL Sundays, sponsored by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. By FedEx Express, international shipping made easy. By Samsung, the official HD TV of the NFL. And by King Kong, directed by Peter Jackson. King Kong, now in theaters.
Well, right now, Ryan Clark is on the sideline. A mild knee sprain. He is likely to return. Pearson Prelo is in there. He gets a lot of playing time anyway, alongside Sean Taylor. First down, Philadelphia. The handoff is to Bruce Perry. Perry, a nice run on first down. Picked up 9.5. It depends on the spot as to whether it's enough for a first down. Might be inches shy.
You know, Bruce Perry was a guy who last week got some playing time. They didn't really know what to expect from him, but in that game against Arizona, he showed an ability to make some people miss. He also returned kicks, and they were impressed with what he did there. Andy Reid told us he was going to get an extensive look here today.
Ryan Clark is back in at safety for Washington. And a handoff is to Moats. He's got a first down for Philly and more. Ryan Moats was shut down last week out in the desert. Just almost completely shut down. 13 yards on 9 carries. The 2 previous games he'd been racking up yards, and this time he picks up 9 and a first down for the Eagles.
And surprisingly, both of those runs over the left side for Philadelphia along that offensive line. That's where they've had to make some of the changes. Of course, Jamal Jackson at center, and then Adrian Clark coming in at left guard, and then that moved Artis Hicks from left guard to left tackle.
McMahon hands it. Ryan Moats. Philip Daniels on the stop. A gain of 3 for Moats. And the early game headliners, just a few. Brett Favre. I want you to weigh in on whether he's finished or not. Come on, is he finished? Is he not? Come on.
You know, is that not the most worn out subject over the last 2 years? Is to, you know, when he retires, he's going to retire. I mean, I don't know why it matters for everyone to speculate, but congratulations to Sean Alexander. Probably should have had the rushing title a year ago. He got it today, and there was no way Mike Holmgren wasn't going to let him play in that game.
So do you think he's finished, though? No kidding. Second down and 7. McMahon in trouble. Throws incomplete in the direction of Greg Lewis. Third down and 7.
We were talking about the Redskin defensive line and the way in which they have played here over the last 4 weeks. Now they bring Walt Harris off the edge, the corner, and this is something that really caused some problems last week for this Eagles offense. I mean, Mike McMahon has been under an enormous amount of pressure ever since he took over for Donovan McNabb and took a number of hits last week again that Cardinal game.
It's third down and 7. McMahon sets up quickly and throws, and it's tipped and incomplete off the hands of Springs. Stoutmeyer almost came down with a deflection, and that brings up fourth down.
Yeah, there's an opportunity there for Sean Springs, because when you talk to these defensive coaches for the Redskins, they recognize that they need to create some turnovers and give the ball to their offense with a short field, because offensively, when you consider Mark Brunell's injury and then going up against a defense that could create some problems for this Redskins offense, that was an opportunity there to get the ball back to their offensive team.
Akers had a season-long 50-yard field goal this same direction against the Giants a few weeks ago, and now from 49 it is off the crossbar and through. And back in Dallas, the Cowboys are thinking, is it going to be one of those kind of days in Philadelphia? It sounded good in Big D. Not too good in the nation's capital. 3-0 Eagles. First points of the day belong to Philadelphia, who clock into this final weekend at 6-9 against the 9-6 Redskins, trying to win today to get into the playoffs. And Mark Brunell, bad knee at all, about to go back to work. And Antonio Brown has one for a touchdown this season that came out at Arizona. And he is brought down by his neck at the 25-yard line by Ryan Moats. So that means that the Washington offense will go to work against this Eagles defense, and despite all the injuries, Troy, the defense, relatively speaking, has gotten through, can't say injury free, but gotten off a lot lighter than the offense. They are playing today, however, without Javon Curse.
Yeah, and Lito Shepherd only the real main injury that they've had all season long. This defense has not played consistently well enough for this team to win. And it has certainly not been because of injuries. They've just not done a very good job. A lot of average performances.
Play action from Brunell, and he overthrows a wide open Robert Royal. Let's go for JB and a game break.
Hey, JB, if Washington wins, this would be their opponent, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who secured the division, winning the NFC South. Joey Galloway, 2 touchdown receptions. Washington, we all know, must win in order to get their back. To Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Pam Oliver.
Thank you, JB. 10:06 left in this first quarter. It's 2nd and 10. Toss to Portis. Gets to the edge, doesn't get much. Maybe half a yard. Brought down by Michael Lewis. It's 3rd and long.
You know, Clinton Portis, you look at what Washington is trying to do, and clearly over their last 4 games, the reason that they've been able to win is because there has been a re-emphasis on running the football, a power running game. And Clinton Portis obviously a big part of that, a very physical runner. But they have not run the ball particularly well early in games. And we're seeing that again right now. And slowly with each quarter, they'll start wearing this Eagles defense down. And they're hoping that in the 4th quarter, then they can turn some things loose.
3rd down and 9. Brunell rolls to his right, throws high for Cooley. He makes the catch, but it's short. Short of a 1st down. And we've seen Brunell, who's gimpy on that leg. When he has missed high, and that is not a good way to miss.
Well, and the reason is, Joe, is that because it's his right leg, being left-handed, that's his front leg that he's stepping out on, and you're not able to put a lot of weight. When you're not able to transfer your weight to your other side, you know, a lot of times then you're going to be errant on your throws. Not so sure Chris Cooley caught it, but it was a heck of an attempt.
Good attempt. They came in and overruled, said incomplete, and now a muff punt. Washington will take over. That Sellers downfield, and it's Sellers who comes away with a football. Their best special teams player, Mike Sellers, a bruising fullback, downfield after the muff by Dexter Wynn.
You know, Mike Sellers, he's one of those players on this team that's just carved himself out a nice niche within the offense, within the special teams, and now in what is their biggest game of the season, he's able to get down the field and then recover the muff punt. Heck of a job on the hustle. He just took his eyes off it and then laid it on the ground. But the Redskins are alertly looking for it and were able to recover it.
So now the ball is just outside the Philadelphia 37. Eagles come on a blitz. Redskins hand it off to Portis. And Portis picks up 12. Brian Dawkins on the stop. You know, if you're Philadelphia and you're thinking at all about ending your season on a high note and getting a win, the one thing you can't do with your offense playing the way it's playing is turn the ball over, fall into a hole, because this Philadelphia team just doesn't look like they have the ability to catch up to anybody.
Yeah, and the one thing that Washington has done a great job of is scoring off of turnovers. When their defense has created turnovers, they've done a good job of transferring those into points. Now they get an opportunity to do it on a special teams turnover.
Clinton Portis gets it again. Lowers his head, pushes the pile, and picks up 3. You know, Clinton Portis is part of this connection that the Redskins have. Brunell has played well. Not phenomenal. He's played well. He's used the tremendous weapon of Santana Moss, who came into this game with 80 catches, 1,400 yards. Clinton Portis has over 1,400 yards. And then their tight end H-back Chris Cooley has 69 catches. There's Moss at the bottom of the screen. 2nd down and 7. That's Cooley. And a good tackle by Lewis. Got around a block, brought down Chris Cooley, and a gain of only 3.
You know, last week, Joe, they ran that wide receiver screen to Santana Moss. He was able to score a touchdown. against the New York Giants. Now they come back with it. They try to throw it to Chris Cooley. Just not quite the same play with Chris Cooley running with the football as opposed to Santana Moss.
There's a quickness factor that's not there. It's 3rd down and 4. Brunell over the middle, wide open is Moss, and down he goes inside the 5. 1st and goal, Washington. 16-yard hookup between Santana Moss and Mark Brunell.
Well, watch Santana Moss. I mean, he does a heck of a job in motion, and then he's going to come up on a guy and then cross his face. So when he gets across, you see as he steps up the field, he plants to the outside, comes underneath. And that's the one place where a defensive back cannot let you go in that coverage. You cannot give Moss the interior of the field, and that's exactly where Moss was able to get to, and that's why it was a big game.
So Dexter Wynn, who muffed the punt to set up this opportunity for the Redskins, gets beaten on 3rd down by Moss. It's 1st and goal. That's Sellers. That's a touchdown. His 7th touchdown reception of the season. And Sellers is on the receiving end to put Washington out in front.
Now you look at what Washington has done here over the last 2 weeks. 8 trips now inside the red zone and 8 touchdowns. And when you're scoring touchdowns instead of having to settle for field goals, you're going to win a lot of football games. And that's one of the reasons why in the last 2 weeks they've been able to score 35 points in each of those wins.
It was Sellers who was downfield to recover the muffed punt off the chest of Dexter Wynn. And then it's Sellers there to receive the pass from Mark Brunell. The Redskins need this game. They fell behind. Now up 7-3 with 6:41 left in the 1st. Seven to 3, the Redskins out in front. Washington 2-11 here the last 13 years. Yes.
It was probably fitting that Mike Sellers was the one who was able to score that touchdown on the reception, considering that he was the one who kind of got it all started recovering that fumble.
I said that going to break. I wish one time you would listen to me. I know you're light on sleep because of the Mummers Parade that went by underneath your window this morning in downtown Philadelphia.
Did you hear that?
Did I hear it? Felt like I was on a float. This is Patterson on the return. Rewind that on your TiVo because you'll enjoy every ounce of that. Patterson on the return, and the ball will be placed outside the 30. There's your guy Sellers. He was downfield part of that tackle, and here is Mike McMahon, who is taking over for Donovan McNabb, who's missing his 7th game after that injury, an injury-filled season. Whether it was the ribs or the hernia, the groin. He's had surgery. Siegel team can't wait for the offseason just to get some time and get healthy. Play action to Moats. And that's Lewis over the middle. The big tight end has a 1st down for Philadelphia out to the 45. 13-yard completion to Chad Lewis.
You know, Mike McMahon has come out throwing the ball relatively well here early in this ball game. If he's able to get that one up, he would have been able to give the ball to Chad Lewis with some room to run. But he's made some good throws. As I was saying a little bit earlier, generally when he's gotten out in games early, he's been very erratic because his emotions are running so high.
This is Perry. And Bruce Perry is able to get back to the line of scrimmage. That's it. Perry, who was a 7th-round pick last year and missed the season, went on IR with a shoulder injury, is from Philadelphia's George Washington High School. He ended up in the arms of LeVar Arrington, who made some headlines this week, saying that he believes that this is probably his last regular season game for the Redskins because of the money he is due next year and the way that he's been handled this year. 2nd and 10. Handoff is to Perry again. Hops a tackler, and he's a yard short of a 1st down.
I think that's got to be a little bit of a concern right now for defensive coordinator Greg Williams in the way that Philadelphia has been able to run the football. Going back to the first meeting between these two teams, Brian Westbrook was still playing at the time. Of course, Donovan McNabb was as well. They came into the game thinking that the Eagles would run the ball a lot. They did. They did not have much success. And Greg Williams told us he expected the Eagles to run the ball a lot again here today.
On 3rd down and 1, McMahon rolls right, looking for somewhere to go with it, and throws high and incomplete. He had Lewis wide open, and McMahon threw too high, so it's 4th down.
And that really has been the problem for this offense. It's not one particular thing. It's just a collection of a lot of errors and missed opportunities. I mean, here you've got a chance to get the ball to Greg Lewis, a high throw, one that Greg Lewis probably would admit that he should have caught. But whenever they have a chance to make a play, somebody just fails to execute.
Landeta hits another one. This one all the way into the end zone. He'll turn 44 in a week. Sean Landeta. Mike McMahon over to talk to Marty Morningway. Here comes Mark Brunell and the Redskins offense up 4. As we play here in week 17 and the playoff picture is almost crystal clear, our thanks from our group to Don Zamenda and everybody at StatSync and Mike Berger back in the studio for all their hard work all season, especially here down the stretch trying to figure out all the different playoff permutations. We know that Seattle and Chicago are the top 2 seeds in the NFC. She knows it. The winner of this final spot between Washington and Dallas will be at Tampa Bay, the number 3 seed, and Carolina at the Giants next weekend. From their own 20, a toss to Clinton Portis, and on the tackle, Jaquay Thomas made the start in place of Javon Curse for Philadelphia. On the other side, Troy, you've got Indianapolis, the number 1 seed, Denver. Then Pittsburgh will play at Cincinnati and Jacksonville at New England as New England loses at home today, albeit without Tom Brady playing the majority of the game, to the Miami Dolphins, who finished up strong.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, the game that has surprised me today was the way Carolina was able to go into Atlanta and beat them the way that they did. I thought that they would really have some problems against that Atlanta team.
2nd down and 7. Brunell is going to go to the sideline for Cooley and almost hits one of the sideline players. I don't know if that was Jim Johnson or not, the defensive coordinator for Philadelphia. It brings up 3rd down and 7 for Brunell, who's out there shaking his head.
You know, the other part of that playoff picture, Joe, that you touched on just a little bit earlier is Dallas. I mean, there they are in their hotel. They play later tonight against the St. Louis Rams, but then they need either Carolina or Washington to lose, and then they have to win tonight. Carolina won big, and imagine the emotional roller coaster they're going through right now.
It's 3rd down and 7. Brunell in trouble, and down he goes back at the 10. Walker was the first guy there. Rayburn was there along with Trent Cole.
Yeah, you can tell that Mark Brunell is just not real comfortable right now within the pocket due to the injured knee. But Santana Moss, he's running a delayed drag route, and he had some separation there, and had Mark Brunell been able to get to him just a little sooner, right there is when he started to cut it loose. But you got Darwin Walker and the rest of the gang coming up inside.
Another chance for Dexter Wynn, and Frost hits it off the side of his foot. Wynn will stay away. Takes a pretty good Redskins roll down inside the 40. The Philadelphia Eagles, another team in the line of 5 now, who have lost a Super Bowl, then been under 500 the next season. Back in 2001, the Giants were 7-9. The Rams in 2002 after losing to New England. After they lost to Tampa Bay, the Raiders went 4-12. That's Bill Callahan. The Panthers, although they were just racked with injuries, 7-9 last year. And now the Eagles come into this game 6-9.
See, now in previous years, this is when Chris Collinsworth would weigh in on what it's like to lose a Super Bowl and why it is that some of those teams go on to struggle.
However, no one seems to know where Chris is. Perry gets it out to the 40. And he just kind of do it on his own over there, and you really didn't have anything to add to that conversation. I mean, you were on the +3 side there.
Yeah, I was one of the fortunate ones. I tell you, I can't imagine what it is like, though, because, you know, when you talk to teams, they always talk about getting to the Super Bowl. Rarely do you hear teams talking about getting to the Super Bowl and winning. They don't talk about that till after they're in. And, coming off of that game, I can only imagine it's got to be the most difficult loss any team could endure.
2nd down and 8 over the middle. Wide open was L.J. Smith, but he is overthrown. And for good measure, Ryan Clark puts L.J. Smith on his back, and the crowd didn't either like the hit or that throw from Mike McMahon.
Well, and L.J. Smith, he was having himself a heck of a season prior to Donovan McNabb going down. He was one of the leading receivers amongst tight ends. But over the time that Mike McMahon has been the quarterback, they just haven't had the chemistry that L.J. Smith had with Donovan, and he's not become nearly as big a part of this offense. His development, I guess you could say, has regressed somewhat here over the last 7 games.
It's 3rd down and 8. A blitz from the Redskins. The pass complete, and that's good for a 1st down. That is Brown, the rookie. Reggie got his first touchdown at Washington against the Redskins the week after, so to speak. Their first week without Terrell Owens.
Well, and Reggie Brown coming off his best performance last week with 6 receptions, a career high, and of course this being his rookie season. And this staff, they really feel that he could be the #1 guy. It's not set in stone that they're going to go out and try to sign or draft someone that they believe can take the place of the presence of a guy like Terrell Owens.
On 1st down, it's Ryan Moss over the right side. I, for one, and I haven't really talked to you about it, I think that would be a mistake. They've been looking for a good combination here at wide receiver really since Andy Reid came in. They thought they had the main guy in Terrell Owens. We all know what happened with that blowing up this season, but I don't think they can go into next year with the same group of receivers that they have right now.
And I would agree with that, Joe. I don't see Reggie Brown as a #1 guy. I see him as a solid #2, and then you put Greg Lewis where he belongs as a #3. But you go out and you find yourself, whether that's in free agency or whether it's drafting one of the elite wide receivers coming out this year.
2nd down and 8. Pressure on McMahon. Gets away from it for a moment. Throws. Incomplete. In the direction of Reggie Brown. And heavy pressure. McMahon buying as much time as he could, but could not find an open receiver.
We were talking about LeVar Arrington, and you're going to take a look at him coming in, and that's one of the things that he does very well is try to come after the quarterback on the blitzes. And you would think that this is a defensive scheme that would have fit his skills very well. That's what Greg Williams likes to do. Within this defense is bring linebackers, but for whatever reasons, he's just not been able to find a place within it.
3rd down and 8. McMahon over the middle. McMullen for a 1st down. And there's a guy who has to be in the category of a disappointment to this point. A 3rd-round pick in 03. That's only his 16th catch of the season.
Well, he's got some ability. He's a big guy and he runs pretty well. Made a couple catches last week, but what a heck of a throw there by Mike McMahon under some pressure and being able to stay within the pocket and deliver the throw. And I think right now Philadelphia has shown this Washington defense a little bit more than what they expected coming in.
Play action from McMahon going down the middle. Wide open is Brown. Touchdown Philadelphia.
I told you he could be the #1 receiver. I tell you, a heck of a job of play action. And then Reggie Brown, watch him. Walt Harris, number 27, is the one on him. Now he's caught looking into the backfield thinking it was going to be run, and Reggie Brown just ran right by him. And Reggie Brown has great speed, ran track at the University of Georgia, and no match for Walt Harris.
4th touchdown for McMahon to go with his 7 interceptions. And it's a 3-point Philadelphia lead. I'll say what you just said. There is no doubt that this Washington team is getting more than they expected out of Philadelphia, albeit with 33 seconds left in the 1st quarter. But at least right out of the gate, the Eagles are showing the Redskins that they've come to play today.
Absolutely they have. And Washington, I think that was the thing that they had to guard against, Joe, was 2 emotional victories against Dallas and then last week against the New York Giants. And so now you come into this game against the Eagles, a team that is depleted due to the injuries that we've mentioned. And you would have to believe that from a defensive standpoint, after you have played the Giants and the Cowboys and some of the weapons that they present, that you would have to have a little bit of confidence coming into this, saying, well, there's no way the Eagles are going to be able to run the football against us, nor are they going to be able to create some big plays, yet they've been able to do both already here in the first quarter.
That pass to Reggie Brown, 33 yards for the touchdown. Washington so far in this first quarter has totaled 30 yards on offense. They got the turnover on the muffed punt by Dexter Wynn, took advantage of it, punched it into the end zone on the touchdown throw to Mike Sellers, but now it's 10-7 Eagles, and Antonio Brown would like to give this Washington team a jolt with a good return. He had a 91-yarder out in Arizona. It was basically a game winner a few weeks ago. Gets it on a hop. Got some room to run, and now that room closes down as he is out to the 27, an 18-yard return. Moats on the tackle again, and let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Joe. You recall defensive coordinator Greg Williams told us how he felt the defense would have to play their best game of the year, where so far the defense hasn't exactly set that proper tone. Williams had a few choice words for his defensive personnel. For one thing, he wants to see more speed out on the field. He also wants them to be sure of what they're seeing before they make decisions. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. A couple of play action passes have worked so far for the Eagles in this first quarter. It's Santana Moss, and there is, because of the start for the Eagles here, a little bit of crowd noise that the Redskins have to deal with. It's not overwhelming, but Santana Moss moved too early.
Yeah, you wouldn't think crowd noise is necessarily going to be a factor at this game. In fact, a lot of Redskins fans here in the stands tonight.
26 seconds left in the first quarter. Brunell sets up quickly and hits Cooley. And Cooley is wrapped up immediately by Quentin Michael, a gain of 5. They get those 5 yards back. 2nd and 10, and that's the way the first quarter will come to a close. The Eagles trying to spoil the day and, in essence, the season potentially for Washington, leading 10-7 at the end of one. The NFL on Fox will continue after this. His fall backward, Reggie Brown into the end zone, a touchdown for the Eagles. They lead by 3. Second quarter about to get underway. 2nd down and 10. Clinton Portis carries it over the left side. Portis is approaching the single season rushing mark for the Redskins franchise. He came in 28 yards shy of tying Stephen Davis's mark. He is at 26 at the moment, so he'll set that for the Redskins. And that combination of he and Moss, one of only 8 duos in NFL history where a receiver and running back has over 1,400 yards in the same season. 3rd down and 4. And make it 3rd down and 9. It's Cooley.
False start, offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You know, a lot of discussion, Joe, as to whether or not the Redskins need a complimentary receiver to Santana Moss. And, you know, Chris Cooley has kind of been that guy for them. And I know he lines up at tight end, but he also lines up at wide receiver. And I think they've got more than enough weapons with Chris Cooley and Santana Moss. And then when you've got Clinton Portis in the backfield running the football the way that he has.
3rd down and 9. Brunell with all day steps up and fires, incomplete, looking for Portis. And it's 4th down for Washington, and another punt is coming. Quentin Michael on the coverage for Philadelphia.
You know, and you just wonder if Washington maybe is pressing a little bit, knowing what's before them. And you know, if they're able to win, clearly they get into the playoffs. And the way that Philadelphia has started this game, and now the Eagles playing from a deficit and giving the ball back to the Eagles with good field position.
Frost hits it. Dexter Wynn makes sure. It's a battle for the Redskins trying to get into the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Thank you, Jim Mora. Eagles have it, up 3. The question is here in Philadelphia, mummer or not a mummer? That's a mummer. Not a mummer. Donald Sutherland. And presumably not a mummer. First down for Philadelphia, and on the carry, it's Perry who gets walloped by Taylor. Gain of 6. Let's look backward before we look ahead. The muff punt, Dexter Wynn. Sellers on the recovery, and then Sellers on the touchdown reception from Brunell. But then the Eagles converted on a couple of third downs, and Reggie Brown was wide open going into the end zone, and McMahon hit him to put Philadelphia back in front. 2nd and 4. McMahon down the middle for L.J. Smith, and he's overthrown. Holdman was back there for Washington, and just in case they needed help, Washington was there too.
Right now, the way that Philadelphia has been able to run the football, you wonder why they even throw the football. I mean, as I said, this has got to be surprising for Greg Williams, the way in which Philadelphia has been able to come in and run the ball. Probably a little bit surprising even to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know that they could have come in here anticipating that they would have moved the ball as well as what they have already this early in the game.
3rd down and 4. Out of the backfield, Moats, and that Spring. Strong tackle. Sean Springs up to knock down Moats and force a Philadelphia punt.
You know, that's one of the things that Washington does so well. I mean, they're well coached. They don't make a lot of mental mistakes, but the other part of it is they're good tacklers. And it's rare when you find guys that play the corner position like Sean Springs that is able to come up and tackle people in the open field. Most corners in this league tend to shy away from contact, not these Redskin corners.
Redskins are playing their 3rd consecutive game without their hot rookie Carlos Rogers. Good punt by Landeta, and great coverage downfield as Antonio Brown is hit by Roper. Matt McCoy. Well covered by the special teams. That'll make John Harbaugh happy for the Eagles. 50-yard punt by Landeta. Washington. Gauge for yourself the mood of this Washington Redskins team, whether on the bench or even on the field. Down by 3, 12.5 minutes to play in this first half. Clinton Portis takes it, cuts it upfield. Nice run. First down out across the 35. Knocked down just shy of the 38 by Brian Dawkins, a 15-yard carry.
You know, people obviously know that Clinton Portis is a heck of a running back, but I don't know that he really gets the recognition that he deserves. I mean, this guy is a physical runner, does not shy away from contact. He hits the hole about as quickly as anybody in the National Football League, and he's got tremendous explosion for a guy his size. I think he's a heck of a ball player, and whether he's got the ball in his hands or away from his hands, he really does a heck of a job staying involved.
He's also got the single-season rushing record for the Redskins franchise, and he's going to add another yard to it. The first 5 possessions for the Redskins today, a couple of punts, the touchdown after the turnover, the muffed punt, then 2 more punts from Washington. So only on that short field were they able to move the ball down and get it into the end zone for their only points. It is 2nd down and 9 here for Washington at their own 38. A blitz. Brunell airs it out for Thrash. A lot of contact, but no flag. That'll bring up 3rd down and long and send us to JB for a game break.
Hey, Joe Buck, Carolina got into the playoffs needing a victory comfortably over Atlanta. Steve Smith, superb season from start to finish. That 42-yard play there helped Carolina to spank Atlanta 44-11, their first sweep of the Falcons ever. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB, thank you. So a convincing win for Carolina after that heartbreaking loss last weekend at home to Dallas. They are a wild card instead of a division winner because of that loss last weekend. Brunell in trouble, just gets rid of it. Eagles sideline looking for a flag for grounding, and finally Terry McCauley throws it.
Yeah, you got Mark Brunell, who's
grounding. Offense, number 8. Ball replaced. It's a spot on the pass. Loss of down. 4th down.
Well, and here's why it was intentional grounding. Mark Brunell was looking for James Thrash. He's in the slot there. He's going to push up and run a square in over the middle, and he just cannot get any separation at all from Dexter Wynn. We saw him try to go on the go route the previous play, couldn't get away from Roderick Hood. And so far, these receivers just haven't given Mark Brunell anywhere to go with the ball.
Frost has been busy in this first half. Wynn is walloped. Ade Jamo downfield to cover it. That'll make Danny Smith, the special teams coach for the Redskins, happy. What a hit, well timed. 47-yard punt and nothing on the return.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Verizon Wireless.
Maybe a special teams play will fire up a flat Washington Redskins club who come in here. They trail as we play in the second quarter, and Ade Jamo leveled Dexter Wynn.
Well, and as you said, Joe, I mean, it was a special teams play that gave them great field position, which allowed them to go in and get their touchdown. And, you know, right now, this Redskin team just seems to be a little flat to me.
10:56 before the half, and a handoff is to Perry. You know, you talked, and I think every member of the Redskins that we spoke with, you asked the question, what's the mood like and how was Joe Gibbs during the week? And it was Mark Brunell who talked about the speech that he gave on Wednesday when he was impassioned, and he said, we are not going to let another team have what we've worked so hard for really the past 4 games. And Brunell said he almost wished he had saved it for Saturday, because on Wednesday this team was ready to run through a wall. Come out here on Sunday and they look like they've forgotten what they're playing for. Brown on the reception. He does hang on before he goes out of bounds. He's short of a first down by about a yard. It'll be 3rd and short for the Eagles.
And the other thing I asked several of these players, and also Greg Williams, was, do you worry about the team coming out flat after 2 emotional wins? I mean, clearly they've won 4 in a row to get here, but the last 2 have been very emotional wins that could have gone either way. And I think if you're a Redskin going into those games, you say, hey, against Dallas, against the Giants, difficult games, we may not be able to win those games, but yet they did convincingly. Now you're going up against a team that's had a bad year, and can you get to the same level emotionally that you had the previous 2 weeks?
3rd down and 1. Perry carries it, and he picks up a first down for the Eagles. Out to the 41-yard line. Picked up 3. He needed 1.
And so far, Joe, I would tell you that they've not been able to match that intensity, and not that it's easy, but certainly when you come into week 16 and you know that with a victory you're able to make the playoffs for the first time since 1999, I would think that would then allow you to get up for the game, maybe in which some other years, some other weeks, maybe you can't. But these Eagles, and they haven't really surprised the Redskins from the standpoint that I think these Redskins knew that they would come in and play hard, and they have.
Timeout by Philadelphia, first taken. 1st down and 10 when we come back. First down for Philadelphia with the ball at their own 41. They lead 10-7. The scenarios we've said countless times already, Washington wins, and they are the number 6 seed, and they will travel and visit Tampa Bay, the first round of the playoffs next weekend. Washington loses. Dallas can get in with a win tonight over St. Louis. A blitz from the Redskins. McMahon is flushed, flips it. L.J. Smith wide open. First down near the 11.
Well, Joe, the Redskins decide to bring pressure, and they're going to come up inside here, which then allows McMahon to get out on the edge. As you see, there's nobody there containing him, and it gives him an opportunity to get a clean look at L.J. Smith. Now, Philip Daniels is the one who's going to be running with L.J. Smith, defensive end. I mean, once he gets 10 yards down the field, Philip Daniels, as he should, turns him loose. But then nobody was there to pick him up. The Redskins bring pressure. They thought that McMahon would get the ball out high.
48 yards, and now McMahon loses the football. Looks like Adrian Clark got back on top of it. He did, so Philadelphia will keep the ball. So L.J. Smith has a season-long 48-yard reception, and then on the next play, McMahon has it knocked out by Ryan Clark.
Well, and McMahon, I mean, he has to learn to protect himself, and in doing that, protect the football. So many times we've seen him take big collisions because he's not getting down and avoiding the big hit.
Penalty flag on the play. The pass is complete to Brown, but may be coming back.
Into the shift, offense, 2 men moving prior to the snap, did not reset for a second. 5-yard penalty, second down.
So take the points off the board and erase the dance from Reggie Brown. Thought he had his second of the day.
Yeah, it was a heck of a throw, too, by Mike McMahon, and a good route by Reggie Brown, only for naught. The 2 guys shifting. Now you've both got to get set. Both the wide receivers, they were set. Well, there it was. You've got the tailback going in motion, and then the fullback moved. And then once that happened, they both had to come to a complete stop for 1 second.
Second down and 11. McMahon stumbles, and he will be tapped down by Washington. Rolling to his right, tripped and fell, and a loss of 10.
You know, Joe, I mean, Mike McMahon has just not had a great deal of successes in football. I mean, going back to his college days at Rutgers, and then certainly with Detroit, and then now here with Philadelphia. And, you know, he shows some real good plays, shows some promise, and then something like this will happen, or he'll put the ball on the ground, or he'll make an ill-advised throw for an interception. And you know, those are the things that have been very discouraging for this Eagles staff.
It's third down and 21. Redskins are coming. McMahon flips it up, and there is contact and a flag. L.J. Smith, the closest one to it, and it is against the Redskins.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. Automatic, first down.
Sean Springs has it called against him.
I tell you, Sean Springs, he had a couple pass interference calls against him last week in that game against the Giants. You see the collision here. And I'm not real sure about that. It looked like they're trying to run a natural pick. You got Reggie Brown trying to pick in order to free up L.J. Smith. Now, Sean Springs is entitled to that position on the field. He does not have to move.
Handoff is to Perry, who is dancing and then gets hit by Taylor. A gain of 3 on first down. Taylor and Perry get up yelling at each other.
You know, Joe, I think that was a bad call by the official. I mean, if you see, Sean Springs was in a position to where the contact was really made by Reggie Brown. Watch Reggie Brown as he comes off the ball. Sean Springs just standing there, and then Reggie Brown runs into him. I don't think that should have been pass interference on Sean Springs.
It's second down and 7 from the 8. Over the middle. Brown will get this one. Touchdown, Philadelphia. And for as loud as it is here in Philadelphia, with a home crowd rooting on the Eagles, it's got to be just as loud down in Dallas.
Yeah, Reggie Brown, he just runs the drag route, and Sean Springs gets caught up in a little bit of the traffic and is unable to run with him in an easy pitch and catch for Mike McMahon on the touchdown.
Brown, the rookie, came in with 2 touchdown catches all season. He has 2 in the first half against the number 7 defense in the NFL, the Washington Redskins.
Well, Mike McMahon knew that he got the coverage that he wanted and is able to get the ball into Reggie Brown's hands. Now, Sean Springs, who's been playing with a groin injury, he comes up limping after that catch. He's missed some time because of various elements throughout the year, and he's also missed some time in recent weeks because of the groin injury that he has. Now, Carlos Rogers, he's also injured, not activated today. So if for some reason Sean Springs would be unable to play, you know, now you're looking at Adi Jamo, the third-year player that would be taking his place at corner.
It's 17-7, the 8-yard touchdown throw from Mike McMahon into the arms of Reggie Brown. And this Redskins defense, which has been overwhelming, is fighting an uphill battle against an Eagles offense that hasn't been doing much of anything. And you can see how gingerly Sean Springs sat down over on that bench. He is in some pain. He was the one guilty of the pass interference that set up the first down and eventually the touchdown completion to Reggie Brown to make it a 10-point lead. And now the Redskins offense will try to figure out how to move the ball.
Well, I know you get into a game like this and you really want to get started early if you're the Redskins and not give the Eagles any hope that they can win this football game. But the Redskins have failed to do that, and the Eagles right now obviously are playing very well.
Akers will kick it away. Antonio Brown waits for it. About the 7. Can't make it to the 25. Brought down by Matt McCoy.
Now you go back and take a look. Watch Sean Springs and watch the traffic that he's going to have to try to avoid as Reggie Brown runs that drag route. And that's why he wasn't able to run after him right from the beginning. But when he had the hesitation and then started to burst, it looked like that's when he re-aggravated the groin injury that he has.
3 of the rookie Reggie Brown's touchdowns. He has 4 all year have come against Washington. Hand off to Clinton Portis. After the 30-yard line, he picked up 6. Trent Cole on the tackle. Certainly at this point in the game, it's a 10-point game, and for the Redskins, it does not change what they want to do with the football, which is feature a lot of Clinton Portis, who during the month of December has averaged over 25 carries per game, compared to just over 17 during October. And Portis carries a tackler. N.D. Kalu picked up 5. And we'll see if the spot gives Washington enough for a first down.
Well, I think they're going to be a little bit short, Joe. And, you know, you look at, actually it is a first down, but you look at right now what Washington's doing. They're starting to feed the ball to Clinton Portis again. And, you know, over these last 4 games during this winning streak, whenever they've started to struggle offensively, that's what they've done. I mean, they've gotten the ball to Clinton Portis, and this offensive line has responded.
Jeremiah Trotter yelling out, watch the screen over the middle. The pass is behind Moss. He adjusts to it, makes the catch, and he's 2 yards shy of a first down. Completion of 8 yards. Next Sunday, the NFL's second season begins as the NFC's best teams go head-to-head to see which 2 will advance to the championship game. Coverage of the NFC playoffs begins with a wild card next Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox, America's most watched NFL network. Dallas preparing for a night game at home against St. Louis. Pleased with the score so far. Clinton Portis, first down Washington. Jaquay Thomas on the stop.
I tell you, Joe, watching it right now, the way that the Eagles are playing Santana Moss surprising me a little bit because they're giving him a lot of one-on-one coverage. On that last play, Roderick Hood was lined up on him and pressing him with no safety help. Now, we certainly know what kind of game he had last week, and you've got to believe that the Redskins are going to take advantage of this matchup if they continue to play him that way.
Play action. Brunell looking for Thrash, and the pass too high. Well, Moss was the NFC's Offensive Player of the Week after taking care of Will Allen and the New York Giants for 5 catches, 160 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So far, relatively quiet for a guy who came in with 80 catches and 1,400 yards. 2 for 24 so far.
I tell you right now, Mark Brunell, you wonder how much that knee is affecting him because he has been errant on several throws.
Handoff is to Portis. And Portis is out to the 49-yard line. 3rd down coming up after Clinton picked up 4.
You watch Clinton Portis run, and I am really impressed with him and the way in which he's able to move people and create some space in order to pick up yards. I know in last week's game and really throughout the entire season, he has done a heck of a job of getting yardage, getting positive yardage when this offensive line hasn't necessarily been moving people.
3rd down and 6. Looked like there was some movement along the offensive line.
False start, offense, number 47. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They get Cooley for the 2nd time in this half.
Well, and one of the reasons why Chris Cooley moved a little bit early is because he sees Brian Dawkins cheating as though he's going to come on the blitz, and he knows he's got to get out of there against a speed guy and put a block on him. And so now you're looking at 3rd and long for the Washington Redskins. As much of the problems as the Eagles have had defensively this year, one area where they've been very good is on 3rd downs.
On 3rd and 11, Brunell goes down the field for Thrash behind the defense. 1st down at the 15-yard line. A huge completion on 3rd down and 11 from Mark Brunell to James Thrash, a former Eagle.
Well, Mark Brunell is able to get out of the pocket, and he sets up pretty well. Now, a good call by moving him a little bit so he's not stationary and the Eagles know where he's going to be. Now, the reason that Thrash got so open was because everybody ran with Santana Moss down the middle of the field. Roderick Hood, nobody was threatening him in the flat. He should have continued to carry James Thrash up the sideline.
We are at the 2-minute warning for Thrash. A season-long 41-yard reception sets up the Redskins. 1st down at the Philly 15. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league. The Fox Sports ticker has up to the 2nd scores and stats. They'll set up the playoff picture as we play here late in Philadelphia. Redskins trying to win to get in. They're down by 10, 2 minutes left. 1st down, Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis gets it down inside the 10 near the 8. Picked up 7.
You go back and you take a look at the big play to James Thrash. Watch Santana Moss as he goes down the middle. And there's going to be 3 guys that are going to be running with him. You got 1, 2, and then you're going to have Michael Lewis, who's going to come into the picture as well. And so because he attracts that kind of attention, all of a sudden you got James Thrash running up the sideline by himself.
2nd down and 3. More from Portis. Portis about 1.5 yards shy of a 1st down, so you know the Redskins have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, so the clock really right now not a factor for Washington. It's 3rd down and 1, and Mark Brunell calls for a timeout. 1:10 remaining in this half, and it's 3rd down and 1. Something that Troy touched on earlier when the Redskins put it in on the touchdown throw to Mike Sellers. 9 for their last 9 tries in the red zone.
I'll tell you what, that's as good as it gets right there. I mean, if they can continue to play like that and assuming that they're able to win today and go on into the playoffs, I mean, they're going to be awfully difficult to beat. Of course, you've got an outstanding defensive team, not playing as well as what they have in recent weeks here tonight, but offensively, if you're able to get touchdowns and not settle for field goals, generally speaking, you're going to be a hard team to beat at any time.
There's a hard guy to get in the way of, Mike Sellers. He is one of the best blocking fullbacks, a guy who Clinton Portis credits for a lot of his success.
You know, last year he had to learn that H-back position. Very hard for him because he said, hey, I'm a true fullback. Playing that tight end position was very hard for me. Now he's primarily playing fullback, but here he is at tight end.
3rd down and 1. They roll Brunell out, backpedaling as he flips it into the air and out of bounds. Now it's 4th down and 1, and the Redskins will bring John Hall onto the field, try to make it a 7-point game.
Well, awfully disappointing for Washington to be able to put the ball down there and not come away with a touchdown. But, you know, a field goal here and being able to cut it to a 1-possession game going in at halftime obviously is a big drive.
25-yard attempt coming from Hall, who is 11 of 13 on the season. Missed 6 games with a quad injury. Snap a little high, but Hall drills it. So that makes it 17-10. The Eagles out in front with 1:01 remaining in the first half. Our headlines for Week 17: Dick Vermeil, his final game as a head coach, and the Chiefs reward him with a 37-3 beating of the Cincinnati Bengals. Bolden and Fitzgerald, 100 catches each this season for the Cardinals. Tiki Barber, another 200-yard game. He had one earlier this year against the Washington Redskins, and Larry Johnson part of that big win for Kansas City. But because Pittsburgh won, Kansas City is finished, and that means that the Chiefs will be looking for a new head coach.
Yeah, and you know, of course, Dick Vermeil's been a great coach and a great ambassador for this league for a long time. And I find it interesting that some of the people in Kansas City are talking about wanting to expand the playoffs from 12 teams to 14 teams. And you know, I'm against that. I think one of the reasons why the league is as popular today as it's ever been is because each and every week during the regular season is very important, and part of that is because only 6 teams from each conference get in. So I would be one that would hate to see him expand the field.
So the 10 victories for Kansas City, not enough. They're out of the playoffs, and then you know, you add Dick Vermeil's name to the list of coaches that are leaving, and then you start to look around and you wonder which of these assistants are going to end up as head coaches. You have to believe that he will, if he so chooses. That's Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator of Washington. How about the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles? Brad Childress, who's a hot name around the league. And because the Eagles are not going to the playoffs, will give him more of an opportunity to interview around and might get a job better that way. On the return, it's Perry, and he fights all the way across the 35. He is knocked down just shy of the 38, a 22-yard return by the Philadelphia native Bruce Perry.
I tell you, it's easy to see why the Eagles like Bruce Perry. I mean, he took a pretty good lick and was still able to get 10-15 yards more, was able to keep his balance, and they might have found him something here with Bruce Perry.
All of this because Brian Westbrook is out. Westbrook is out. Perry's been getting the majority of the handoffs today. We've seen Ryan Moats in weeks past, and Lamar Gordon, who has battled injuries and has also battled the problem of fumbling the football a little too much to Andy Reid's liking. And now on first down with 54 seconds left and 2 timeouts, here are the Eagles, who lead by 7. McMahon's going to air it out, go deep, and incomplete, looking for Lewis, and there was coverage downfield by Walt Harris.
Well, Sean Springs, he's still out on the field, and you know, he still looks like he's a little bit gimpy, you know, with that groin injury, but he was one-on-one outside, so apparently he's healthy enough to still be able to turn and run. But when you've got a guy that's injured like that, and I've got to believe that the Eagles know that he walked off the field very slowly, that you'd think that if you're going to take a shot down the field, he'd be the guy you'd go after.
2nd down and 10. They hand it off to Perry, and Bruce Perry picks up 10+ and a first down for Philadelphia. The Eagles spend a timeout. Stoutmeyer on the tackle, but a first down run for Bruce Perry, who's been impressive. Philadelphia now with 1 timeout remaining and 40 seconds on the clock. and a first down at their own 49.
Now, this guy Bruce Perry, he runs hard. I mean, there's a pretty good contact there. Stoutmeyer and Bruce Perry, and you know, I know that the running back situation, as you said, Joe, with Brian Westbrook and him not playing, they've got these various packages that they have for each guy. But you know, right now Bruce Perry getting a bulk of the work, trying to figure out exactly, you know, what he can do as they move into the offseason. And I know Andy Reid's been very reluctant to talk about evaluations, and certainly they're playing to win this game. It's obvious by the way in which we've seen them call plays here, and they're going for it here at the end of this half. But along the lines, they're still evaluating players.
Westbrook missing his 4th game with that Liz Frank sprain. Perry in the backfield on first down. Over the middle, that pass broken up by Prelo. Got in front of Billy McMullen and knocked it away.
It was a heck of a defensive play there. You got the receiver going down the middle of the field, and then Prelo, if Mike McMahon had just been able to hold on to that ball just for a second and put a little bit of air under it, there was a chance that Billy McMullen could have gotten away from Prelo, but a good play on his part.
35 seconds left and 1 timeout for the Eagles, up 7. A blitz from the Redskins. Over the middle, McMullen. Washington knocks it away, and the Redskins recover. Marcus Washington forced it, and the Washington Redskins see Marcus come away with a football.
Well, again, I mean, each time it seems that the Eagles do something positive, then all of a sudden something negative happens. I mean, they get an opportunity to get good field position, a nice completion. Marcus Washington coming in and knocking the ball loose, and then able to recover the fumble. You got the ball on the inside arm. That's why they tell the young players to switch arms and put it on your outside arm so the defender can't come in and have the ball exposed and knock it out of your hands.
Now with 2 timeouts remaining, we'll see how aggressive the Redskins want to be, down by 7. 26 seconds and counting left in the half. Brunell's going to air it out, thrash the intended receiver, and it's picked off by Hood. Roderick Hood with the interception, and the Eagles take it right back.
Well, Washington comes back with the exact same play that they ran on the previous possession to the deep ball to James Thrash. Santana Moss again going down the middle, but this time Roderick Hood runs with him. Puts himself in a great position to make the play. Not necessarily a bad thing for Washington. Worth taking the shot with 19 seconds left in the half. Obviously, it's just like punting the football.
3rd interception of the season for Roderick Hood, who took over for Lito Shepherd, a guy who's a restricted free agent after this year. That's Hood, former walk-on at Auburn, and he's been impressive. First Washington turnover, and this first half will end with the Eagles up 17-10. They are glued to their televisions down in Dallas. If Washington wins, the Redskins are in the playoffs. If Washington loses, the Cowboys play tonight against St. Louis with a chance to get into the playoffs for the victory. That is the end of the first half. 17-10, the Eagles lead it. Stay tuned for the Visa Halftime Show. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy right after this from your local Fox station. It could be 1 half of football left for both teams if the Eagles hang on and beat Washington, with a Dallas Cowboys game coming up tonight at home against St. Louis. Look at McMahon, Portis, and Reggie Brown, who had a big first half. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com. And if Joe Gibbs had that emotional speech on Wednesday, he had better have thought of something good for halftime here on Sunday in Philadelphia, because the Redskins, after winning 4 straight, needing their 5th in a row to secure their spot in the postseason, here they are trailing a 6-9 Philadelphia team by 7 points at the half. Antonio Brown on the return, and Brown is brought down at the 28. That's where the Redskins will have it, down by 7, and we say hello to Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Joe. I got in a word with the Redskins defensive coordinator Greg Williams, and he said that the Eagles aren't doing anything that they had not expected. He said we just have to start seeing right and also start playing more soundly. Joe Gibbs added to that. He says we're playing our rear ends off. We just can't get anything going. Whatever they get going in the second half, Joe, they're going to have to do without Sean Springs. That groin injury has resurfaced. He is out for the second half.
All right, that's big news, Pam. So now Springs as well as Carlos Rogers not available to the Redskins defense. As Washington hands it to Clinton Portis, a nice run with his first carry of the half, picks up 5. Dhani Jones on the stop. First half statistics. Portis predominantly against Bruce Perry. The two featured running backs, the passing yardage favoring Mike McMahon over Mark Brunell.
Well, the Eagles over 200 yards of offense there in that first half. If they don't have the 2 turnovers, this game's not as close as what it is now.
Second down and 5. Hand off to Portis, and he will make it out to the 35-yard line. 3 yards shy of a first down. We asked Mark Brunell about something you talked about earlier, and that is the Redskins' rededication to the running game. He said, I don't know if there was a shift in philosophy, but let's just say we're running the ball much better during this 4-game win streak, during which time Portis has been over 100 yards every game. It's 3rd down and 3. Brunell fires behind his receiver, and what a catch by Portis. Doing all he can as he gets a first down for the Redskins.
You know, Clinton Portis is not a big part of what they do throwing the football, but these are the types of routes that he does run. He comes up there and he's just running a little check down over the middle of the ball. And again, Mark Brunell just off with his throws. Now, I've not seen him in recent games throwing this ineffectively as far as accuracy is concerned, but a number of times today he's just had some problems. He gets the ball into Portis' hands there on the move. He's able to do something with it.
He did get enough for a first down. Brunell's going to air it out for Moss. Santana Moss. They're saying he's still in bounds, and he's ripped down at the 6. Brought down by Sheldon Brown.
Yeah, I thought he stepped out, Joe. He tapped along that sideline, and it looked like he might have gone out. Now, here he is going in motion, obviously man-to-man, because Sheldon Brown is in motion with him. And that's just flat speed. Sheldon Brown was off. He had the angle, and yet Moss was still able to run by him. And on second look, maybe he did not go out of bounds.
Well, right now, Andy Reid has thrown the challenge flag, and really all you're talking about is a difference of a couple of yards. Yeah. It's not even worth challenging.
Philadelphia has challenged the ruling on the field that the pass was complete. Timeout.
Well, clearly the pass was complete, unless Andy Reid is saying that Moss stepped out of bounds before he made the catch. But, I mean, that's clearly complete. It looked like he did stay in, but the Eagles are challenging the call.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 40.
Take another look. Really, you're talking about, even if the Eagles win this challenge, it's about 1.5 yards difference in where the ball's spotted. Obviously, Moss makes the catch. The question is, did he step out?
The ruling on the field stands. First down, Washington.
The challenge was a silly, wasted challenge anyway. But go back to the throw by Mark Brunell, his best throw of the day.
Well, it is, and he does throw a good deep ball, and he certainly did here. He put it right on the money to a speed guy, and that's not always an easy throw to make. But, you know, I was talking on the previous play about the throw that he made to Clinton Portis, and my only point being that that knee, I know, is giving him some problems, and so he's trying to overcome that on some of the shorter throws. But what we've seen on the deep ball is that he's been able to step up with the transformation of the weight to that right side and get the ball out there.
So on the same day that Clinton Portis sets the Redskins single-season rushing record, now Santana Moss has done so for receiving yardage at 1478. Bobby Mitchell had the old record set in 1963. It's 1st and goal. They hand to Portis. Cuts it up. Gets it down to the 2. Hollis Thomas on the tackle for Philadelphia.
You know, this is where Clinton Portis is so good, and he's going to start here. It's the stretch play, but watch him when he starts heading north and south once he finds a crease. He says that he likes to get going up the field as quickly as possible, and when he sees a hole, he hits it as hard as he can. And that's what he was able to do on that last play. It doesn't require much of an opening for him to be able to get in there and pick up positive yardage.
2nd and goal, a toss to Portis. Cuts it up. Gets it in. Touchdown, Washington. So they take the opening kickoff of this second half. Clinton trying to breathe life back into that football. And with the extra point coming, here they are seconds away from tying a game they need to win.
Well, they come right back with the same run. And the way he finishes this run just shows you the type of power that he has. He hits the hole going north and south, and then you've got Mark Semino coming up trying to make the tackle. And if you're above or standing higher than what Clinton Portis is, you're going to have a hard time stopping him.
For Portis, his 10th rushing touchdown of the season, 44th rushing touchdown of his career. And this game is tied at 17. It was a 54-yard reception to Santana Moss that set it up. Breathe, football, breathe. It's 17-17 in Philadelphia.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
(17-17) with 11:46 remaining in this third quarter. Clinton Portis, who likes to play dress up during the week, has to appreciate that guy's outfit.
Clinton Portis got a bunch of the guys involved this week.
He did. But he showed up as Southeast Jerome.
Still my favorite.
Hall kicks it off. Bruce Perry on the return. And Perry will get out to the 31, and a pretty good fight breaks out. And they're going to throw a flag. Believe it was Dhani Jones who lost his helmet. And Rock Cartwright might have been the guy who then grabbed it and threw it.
Yeah, I just saw an Eagles helmet flying across the field. Didn't see who exactly threw it.
Kicking team, number 31, during the return. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's a big deal. That gives Philadelphia great field position out at their own 46-yard line, and it will happen at the bottom of your screen.
Well, they're engaged, and yeah, well, it wasn't. I mean, obviously, hands to the face should have been called, but as far as the throw, didn't look like that was quite as.
That was all in one motion.
That was all one motion, yeah. Kind of like that one-piece takeaway you work on there in golf.
With 11:39 left in the third quarter, McMahon fires and hits a wide open Greg Lewis. Again, the Redskins, after Pam's report, playing without Sean Springs, Carlos Rogers inactive to start this game.
And Greg Lewis one-on-one there on Walt Harris, and you can tell Walt Harris waiting for Greg Lewis to run by him, and he had his hips turned and his back towards the sideline. So with an out-breaking route, there's just no way that Walt Harris is going to be able to get turned to cover that. And Greg Lewis has some speed, so if he can continue to threaten with speed, he'll be able to create separation on those routes.
McMahon flips it up for Brown. Brown caught it at the 1, and now they're saying out of bounds. Walt Harris was there stride for stride. Somehow Reggie Brown came down with it. But when the officials got together, they said he was out of bounds.
Well, that was a heck of a catch just for Reggie Brown to make. You see, he got 1 foot down. The other one was out of bounds. A good call by the official, but Walt Harris, last time he was expecting Greg Lewis to run by him. He played him with cushion. This time, Reggie Brown runs right by him. I've got to believe that Greg Williams is getting ready to start giving Walt Harris some help.
Problem is, how do you do it when you don't have Sean Springs on the other side? This is Perry. And Perry picks up 10.
Well, the problem with it, Joe, is you can't do it if Philadelphia is going to continue to run the football the way that they have, because if you can't stop the run with 7 guys, then it becomes extremely difficult to try to give help to your outside corners. On that last play, they tried stopping the run with 7 to give Walt Harris and Adi Jamo safety help. And that's why the Eagles were able to pick up the yards they were able to there on the run.
Perry got 10, first down Philadelphia. Perry's had a nice game. Moats gets it. Moats hit first by Sean Taylor and eventually picks up 6. Marcus Washington cleaned up. And we talked to Greg Williams earlier in the year when all those injuries hit the secondary, and he said, well, we don't have Rodgers. For a while they didn't have Springs, but Stoudemire's played some corner, Prelo's played some corner, Ryan Clark is even a former cornerback, so he thinks they can get by, and they're going to have to for the rest of this second half if they're going to beat Philadelphia.
Well, and the other thing, Joe, is this defensive line. They got to start playing the way that they have the last couple of weeks, because so far they've been non-existent.
Second down and 4, and a handoff is to Perry. And there's Salavea in the middle of it. Check it, Griffin making the tackle. And Cornelius Griffin brought down Perry after a gain of 1. Sellers the first touchdown for Washington. The 4-yard touchdown throw from Brunell. Then Reggie Brown. One of 2 touchdown catches in this game. Clinton Portis, 80 rushing yards. And the last touchdown to tie this game at 17. But now here are the Eagles marching it right back down the field, 3rd and 3. They move McMahon to his right, fires into the end zone, and incomplete. An awful lot of contact, and it looked like Greg Lewis was the one who was doing most of the interference.
Yeah, I agree, Joe, and not really a good decision by Mike McMahon, because there was nowhere to throw the football. Greg Lewis to the corner, and you got Walt Harris, who's in a pretty good position there, along with Sean Taylor to his inside. But the Eagles, a good drive on their part. The Redskins go down to get the opening kickoff of the second half, get a touchdown to tie it, and now the defense for the Redskins let the Eagles come down and now attempt a field goal.
Ronaldo Wynn blocked one last week against the Giants. David Akers drills the 35-yard try. And that means that the Eagles are back out in front with 8:52 left in the 3rd quarter. A lot of pressure now on Walt Harris, Ade Jamo, and the rest of the secondary the rest of this day. The Eagles just went down the field. Akers was good from 35, a 3-point Philadelphia lead. Redskins need to win, and they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they have to hope that Dallas tonight at home loses to St. Louis to get into the playoffs. Liddell Betts from inside the 5. His first return of the day. Liddell Betts will get it out to the 33-yard line, brought down by Quentin Michael. Clinton Portis comes back onto the field.
He's had an amazing season, Joe. I mean, when you look back to last season and consider how frustrated he was within that running game, and for him to come out this year and have the year that he had has been very impressive.
Portis gets it on a toss, trying to outrun Thomas, and he can't. Jaquay Thomas showing some serious speed to get out there and drag down Portis, who's injured.
Well, you wonder what it might have been. This was not the horse collar, but it certainly had the same effect. I mean, you've got him on the jersey and then bringing him right to the ground, and you had a hold of his hand. It looked like it might have had some kind of injury to that area right as he was going down with his left arm.
So they look at Portis along the sideline. We take a break.
NFL Sunday is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa's multiple layers of security, you're protected. By AT&T, introducing the new AT&T Your World Delivered. By State Farm, great service, great rates. That's why 40 million drivers trust State Farm. And by Circuit City, just what I needed.
Clinton Portis has been busy trying to stretch out and realign his back after getting ripped down by Jaquay Thomas on that last carry. He lost a yard. 2nd down and 11. Liddell Betts gets it. Hits the hole hard. Liddell Betts gets it up near midfield, knocked down just outside the Redskin 48. A run of 17 yards for a back that you and I watched over the past couple of years and really been impressed with.
Yeah, and a lot of people have, including Joe Gibbs. I mean, he really likes this guy, and that's why he feels very comfortable that when Clinton Portis is not in the game and needs to come out to take a little breather, of course now he's out due to the injury, that Liddell Betts can come in and get the job done.
Word from the bench is he's fine. He should come back in, but right now they're going to ride Liddell Betts, who gets it into Philadelphia territory, picked up 2, and we go back to the tackle by Jaquay Thomas.
Yeah, initially it looked like Clinton Portis was grabbing his arm or wrist. It looked like maybe his left elbow when he goes to the ground, but you can see the impact right there and the twisting that occurs to the low back area. You know, that's one of the reasons why when they instituted the horse collar rule is because there's so many injuries that come from that. As I said, that was not the horse collar, but it certainly had the same effects.
Back on the field on 2nd down and 8. A blitz from the Eagles. Redskins pick it up. Brunell fires low and incomplete for Sellers. He had Cooley and Sellers in just about the same spot, and it was off the hands of Mike Sellers. It's 3rd and 8.
You know, right now the Eagles secondary has not played well all season long. Of course, they're without Lito Shepherd, but even when you talk about Sheldon Brown and Michael Lewis and Brian Dawkins, but yet in today's game they're playing a lot of man-to-man, even against Santana Moss. And they were playing man-to-man across the board on the last play.
3rd and 8. Another blitz. Again, the Redskins pick it up. Moss on the catch, but he's brought down short of 1st down yardage. Brian Dawkins was there.
You know, we've talked about it a fair amount, Joe, with the injury to Mark Brunell in his knee and how that is affecting him, because these types of throws, if you put that ball where it's supposed to be out in front of Santana Moss, potentially he's able to catch that and then run with it after the catch and pick up the 1st down. But when you're having to reach back, it's very hard then to run after the catch.
Dawkins got up a little gimpy after that last stop, as the fair catch is called for and taken in by Dexter Wynn. Trent Cole and Brian Dawkins out there on the stop for Philadelphia to stop Santana Moss shy, and the Eagles get it back. Well, I don't think there's any doubt, Troy, that the call is out right now for this Washington defense, being played so well coming into this game, to come up with a stop and do something to help the Redskins, who trail by 3. From their own 8. Handoff is to Moats. And Moats gets it out to the 11. Cornelius Griffin on the stop, a gain of 3. Our wild card game next weekend. We know now it's Carolina at the Giants. Next Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. It begins on Fox Sports, America's most watched NFL network. 2nd down and 7 here for the Eagles. Who will play at Tampa Bay? Will it be the Redskins, or will it be the Cowboys? 2nd and 7. McMahon steps up, and down he goes. Brought down by Griffin. For Cornelius Griffin, his 4th sack of the season.
Well, good job of Cornelius Griffin getting inside and getting pressure on Mike McMahon, but it was due to the coverage down the field. A good job on the other end. The secondary, along with the linebackers, picking up the crossing route there of Reggie Brown, and then you've got Cornelius Griffin, who just keeps moving the pile there against Sean Andrews. And as soon as Mike McMahon went to scramble, he was able to make the tackle.
3rd Skins sack of this game. It's 3rd and 10. Handoff is to Perry, and there's the stop, 3 and out, as the Redskins defense shows up.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed, Joe, and you alluded to that when they started this drive. And you know, for the Redskins to force a 3 and out and now give the ball back to their offense in great field position is huge, because when you get the ball at midfield, the percentages of you being able to go down and come away with points go up dramatically.
The punt from Landeta with Antonio Brown waiting deep for Washington. Landeta hangs it high. Brown calls for the fair catch at the 45-yard line. Tomorrow, join Fox for one of college football's most storied bowl games. Some of the sport's greatest names have taken part in the past, and this year Texas Tech battles Alabama in the first ever meeting between these two historic programs. The 70th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Starting from their own 45, down by 3. Brunel with plenty of time looking for Moss. A flag is thrown. The ball is picked off by Brown. Sheldon Brown, but there is a flag down.
Yeah, I know Santana Moss is saying that it's on Sheldon Brown. I'm not so sure that they're not going to call it on Moss. I mean, it looked like Moss started leaning on Sheldon Brown.
Holding. Defense. Number 24. Penalties decline. First down.
You saw the left hand there of Sheldon Brown that actually.
Now you've got to accept the penalty. Terry McCauley is going to have to re-announce.
Automatic first down.
Accept the penalty. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yeah, you saw the left hand there of Sheldon Brown, and that's what they called. But Santana Moss, as you could see, and that's what a good receiver will do. He'll start leaning on the defensive back in order to create a little separation, and then also give his quarterback somewhere to throw the football. Could have gone either way.
4:23 to play third quarter. Clinton Portis pushes the pile for 3 yards.
Yeah, I think you look at this Redskin team, Joe, and really for the entire season, as far as what they wanted to do coming into the year, and they wanted to be better at running the football, and they wanted to be able to create bigger plays in the passing game, and they've been able to accomplish both those things throughout the season, and that's why they're knocking on the door of getting into the playoffs since '99. Clinton Portis, the year that he's had, and then of course the acquisition of Santana Moss in the year that he's had as well.
2nd down and 7. Quick throw, and the pass incomplete. Moss with Hood right in his hip pocket. Brings up 3rd down.
I'll tell you what, it looked like the intended receiver was Roderick Hood. The ball went right over the top of his hands. You're seeing him there, 29. He's looking in at the quarterback the entire way, and he had an opportunity. If he hadn't have been engaged right away with Santana Moss there, he would have had himself an easy interception.
Now it's 3rd and 7. Cooley got off the line quickly. They throw a flag, and the pass incomplete. A flag is thrown after the snap.
Holding. Offense. Number 60. Penalties decline. 4th down.
So they get Chris Samuels with a hold. The Eagles decline it, and it's 4th down for Washington.
I was with you, Joe. I thought Chris Cooley got off to an early start as well, but the hold on Chris Samuels, I mean, that's disappointing for this Redskins offense. For them to get the ball where they got it and not be able to move the ball and come away with any points is very discouraging.
3.5 to play, 3rd quarter. Frost trying to down it inside the 20. Takes a hop and goes into the end zone. So again, we're right back where we were a few minutes ago, where the Washington defense will be asked to come out onto the field and get another 3 and out, or at least slow down the Philadelphia attack. And when you ask the question, who has shown up defensively for the Redskins on defense, that question is hard to answer.
Well, it is hard to answer. I mean, in previous weeks, it's been a real easy question to answer. Cornelius Griffin, of course, and then Phillip Daniels and Marcus Washington and all the guys who have helped get this team to where they are. But, so far, this defensive front, and they're going to have to play well here, as we finish up with the 3rd quarter and then on into the 4th quarter, if they're going to keep their team in it, because I think that it's going to come down to how well this Washington Redskin defense plays if they're going to win.
McMahon for Moats out of the backfield. And Moats uses that good speed, his athletic ability to pick up 9. Sean Taylor on the stop. When he gets it in the open field, Ryan Moats can absolutely fly.
Yeah, he really can. I know that, you know, they'd like to see him be a little bit better in pass protection, but, you know, when he gets the ball in his hands, like you said, Joe, he can make some things happen. And, you know, those are the types of players that you certainly want to have on your ball club.
2nd down and 1. Handoff is to Moats, and Moats picks up a 1st down for Philadelphia.
You know, when you talk about the fact that they've got the injuries at the corner position, Washington that is, with Sean Springs out, Carlos Rogers, of course, he's inactive today. So now what you're having to do is you're having to protect those guys a little bit, or if not that, it at least changes your approach if you wanted to try to start bringing pressure. I mean, obviously that's something that Greg Williams likes to do, but when you bring pressure, you then expose these corners.
They fake a reverse. McMahon is going to throw it deep for Lewis. Jamo is back there, and it's off his hands, incomplete. Ryan Clark was also there in the coverage for the Redskins. We talked to Tom Coughlin a few weeks ago, and his scouting report on Mike McMahon was, of all the things he does at quarterback, his deep ball is the best ball that he throws, and he shows off a strong arm as he overthrows Greg Lewis downfield.
Well, Mike McMahon, I mean, he has some real talent, and you know, but unfortunately at this level it's not all about talent. In fact, so little of being successful at this level is about talent.
Perry. Washington on the stop, and Perry picked up 1.5 yards. We'll call it 2. Brings up 3rd and 8.
You know, you talk about guys that can throw the football, and most everybody that plays quarterback has a good arm, or at least a good enough arm. But you know, so many times it comes down to the intangibles, whether or not you're accurate with the football. And I think probably most importantly, are you in a system that really takes advantage of your skills? I mean, think of all the quarterbacks in this league that have been in offenses that have given them opportunities to make plays.
4 wide receivers set for the Eagles. A blitz from the Redskins. This is McMullen, and it goes right past his ear.
And that's a touchdown if they're able to connect on that one. You got the Redskins, and they bring pressure, they bring the blitz, and the Eagles have done a good job when the Redskins have elected to bring people and blocking it up. And now, like I say, you've got Sean Taylor on McMullen, and McMullen was by him, and a better throw, and that's a touchdown.
Landetta hits it. Antonio Brown calls for the fair catch near the 30. So with 1:08 remaining in this 3rd quarter, McMullen and McMahon almost hooking up for what could have been a back-breaking touchdown against the Redskins. Now here comes Mark Brunell down by 3, and Ade Jamo is trying to catch his breath over on the bench.
Well, I don't know what they do if he's down, and then you know, then they're going with a 2nd-year player, and Christian Morton would be the next guy, unless they're going to move one of the safety players to the corner position.
Put a call into Pat Fisher, see if he can come back. 1:08 remaining. 1st and 10. And the handoff is to Clinton Portis, picks up 3. And well, it's not just a guy trying to catch his breath. It's Jamo that's going to have to be carted off the field, doubled over in pain. So now you're without Springs, Rogers, Jamo, and you're going to have to play a guy who's typically listed as a safety at cornerback.
Well, and then let's say they do even win this game, you know, are they going to have any of those guys back for next week's game, and to where they give themselves a fighting chance in that one?
Half a minute to go, 3rd quarter. Handoff is to Clinton Portis, doing everything he can, and Portis lurches forward. Brought down by Michael Lewis, picked up 5. And it is 3rd down. That could be the way the 3rd quarter comes to a close. And it will. So the Redskins will be faced with 3rd and 2 when we begin the final quarter of play here in Philadelphia. The score, the Eagles 20, the Redskins, who need a win, 17. Back after this from your local Fox station. Redskins desperately needing a win for their 5th in a row. trying to get to 10-6 and secure a spot in the playoffs. Have 63 yards out in front of them. Right now faced with 3rd down and 2. They roll Brunell out looking for Cooley, and it's just not there. Pass is incomplete downfield with Thrash, but Chris Cooley has been shut down today, and his frustration evident as he goes to the sideline.
It has been a quiet day for him. You see him go in motion, and they're running the waggle, and if he gets the ball right there, I think if Brunell gets the ball in his hands right away, then he's able to probably pick up that 1st down. But Brunell sees color with Michael Lewis on his back and elects not to give him the ball.
Cooley 2 catches, 8 yards. Penalty flag is down, and Dexter Wynn on the return. Crosses the 40. Good return by Dexter Wynn, but a flag is down. Kari Campbell was downfield to make that tackle. He's the special teams leading tackler for the Redskins.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask, receiving team, number 46. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
So the Eagles will keep the football, and it will cost them 15 yards for that face mask. And we talked about the frustration evident for Chris Cooley. His 2 catches, 8 yards, not exciting him to this point.
Well, and that's a guy in Chris Cooley here who over the last 2 games has 4 touchdown receptions, 3 of those coming in 2 weeks ago against Dallas, and it's been a big part of this offense, but not today. The Eagles have done a good job of not really letting him go. Now Santana Moss has caught a couple in the game today and has made some big plays, but so far they've been able to control Chris Cooley.
That is Clinton Portis's mother, who had to come out of the stands because she had something thrown on her up in the seats here in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, the word on Ade Jamo, he is out due to illness. Pass is caught by Reggie Brown, and Reggie Brown makes a move and picks up 9. Depends on the spot. It looked like he was a little short of a 1st down, but they give Brown a favorable mark, and they give Philadelphia a 1st down.
And we talked a little bit earlier about the job that these Redskins do in terms of making the tackle. Christian Morton, now the 2nd-year player, is playing corner, and he did not come up and make the tackle on the last play, which is what allowed the receiver then to pick up the yards that he did.
Troy circles Christian Morton, and the handoff is to Perry, and Perry gets it out to the 29. 5-yard gain on 1st down. So the Redskins defense trying to figure out a way without Rodgers, Springs, and Jamo. Playing guys like Christian Morton and others. Seen a lot of Stoudemire, Pearson Prelo, an extra defensive back, and Greg Williams barking out instructions to try to slow down the Eagles.
Well, you almost get the feeling that if the Redskins are going to be able to get any points, that this defense is going to have to force some kind of turnover.
2nd down and 5. McMahon drops it off. That's Perry. And Perry, with a flag coming in at the very end of the play, was flipped forward for a 1st down, but we will check the marker. Runyon and Salavea get into it.
And I think that's where the flag came in from. And I didn't see exactly what happened, but hey, Joe Salavea, he's a guy that I would not want to have to mess with. I mean, he's a big, powerful, strong guy, and right now extremely upset. And I don't know if the penalty was on him or whether or not it was on John Runyon.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 69. Half the distance to the goal, 2nd down.
So that takes a 1st down off the board for the Eagles, and it's Runyon right in the middle of the picture. Well, and there was the swing by John Runyon at the very end of that play, and
You know, Joe Salvea, he didn't much care for it. That would have been an interesting matchup between those two big guys.
Makes it 2nd down and 20. Runyon, who is a free agent at the end of the year, playing in his 144th consecutive game. The pass to Lewis, and the catch is made by Greg Lewis. They're going to mark him out of bounds just shy of the 20. A gain of 5, and that brings up 3rd down and long for the Eagles.
Yeah, and a big 3rd down now for really both teams. I mean, if the Eagles are not able to convert here, then they're going to give the ball back to Washington with pretty good field position. And are the Eagles going to put the ball in Mike McMahon's hands here and let him throw?
So far, 30% on 3rd down today are the Eagles. This 3rd down throw is batted into the air and intercepted. That's Lamar Marshall. His 4th interception of the season, and it comes at a huge time for this Redskins defense. And there's the turnover you were talking about.
Well, yeah, because when you're looking at 3rd and long like it was and you're backed up, the likelihood of converting that isn't very good. And so that's why I was thinking maybe Andy Reid, because his defense has been playing good, maybe he allows them to run the ball and then punt it. But Mike McMahon throws a flat ball, which allows Lamar Marshall then to make the play on it. But a turnover that this Washington offense desperately needed.
It sets him up at the 22-yard line of Philadelphia, down by 3. Handoff is to Portis. Clinton Portis trying to get around Hood. He does. Touchdown. And just like that, after the interception by Lamar Marshall, the Redskins on the very first play get a 22-yard touchdown run from Clinton Portis, who is now up over 1,500 yards for the season.
I tell you what, Joe, that was a heck of a run by Clinton Portis. He gets bottled up inside. Again, look at what he's able to do on the spin move. Then he gets hit again by Jaquay Thomas, but Santana Moss down the field blocking is what sprung Clinton Portis there at the end. And then, of course, the speed by Portis to get to the corner of the end zone.
And so now with 12:19 remaining in this game, the Redskins lead is 4. Lamar Marshall set it up, tipped it to himself on the interception, handed it over to the Redskins offense. He's pumped up as Washington leads by 4.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Chevrolet and American Revolution, by Singular, raising the bar, by Bud Light, refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it, and by Lowe's, where improving home improvement never ends.
Redskins trying to fight their way into the playoffs, trying to win their 5th consecutive game. Lamar Marshall with the interception. Clinton Portis now 1,515 yards on the season, 2 rushing touchdowns today, again over 100 yards. 5th consecutive game he's accomplished that, and then John Hall turns around and kicks it out of bounds.
Wow, how do you do that?
Kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. Timeout.
So great field position for the Eagles, who are now down by 4. They'll start at their own 40, trailing 24-20 to Gibbs and the Redskins. John Hall is still over on the bench, talking to himself, shaking his head. After throwing his helmet, the 9th-year pro just kicked it out of bounds, and the Eagles, down by 4, start at their own 40 because of it. Handoff is to Moats. Ryan Moats goes nowhere. Ball comes out. He was first hit by Lamar Marshall. The Redskins are signaling that they have it. No indication yet from any official around that pile. Lamar Marshall, who just had an interception, they've given it back to the Eagles, was the one who hit Moats, and Moats was the one who came up with a football at the bottom of that pile. There's the hit by Marshall.
Now the ball clearly out. That's kind of been the story of the year for this Washington Redskin team. They're one of the best in the league at creating fumbles, but one of the worst in the league as far as recovering them.
That's what's at stake for the Redskins, a win and they are in, and the Cowboys are out. They lead by 4 on 2nd down. Pass complete to Brown, and he is forced out by Walt Harris. I want to go back, Troy, to the last possession that the Eagles had. It was an enormous penalty against John Runyon. It took a 1st down off the board on a little drop-off pass to Bruce Perry. Instead of a 1st down at their own 36, Runyon takes a swing at Salavea. That's a personal foul 15 yards back the other way. And right after that, the interception by Lamar Marshall.
It's a good point, Joe, and it's something that won't really show up because that's what ultimately led to the interception with McMahon forcing a throw.
It's 3rd down and 9. McMahon with time slings it to L.J. Smith. And Smith has a 1st down inside the Washington 40. McMahon has had time, and he just completes it for 21 yards.
Yeah, the Redskins here over the previous plays were starting to get a little bit of pressure on Mike McMahon, but the Eagles form a good pocket for him on this play. And then, of course, they just run L.J. Smith down the middle of the field and have him turn around. I mean, that's not a difficult throw. It's an easy completion and just not very good coverage.
Now at the Washington 38. Toss to Perry. He's going to throw. Thought better of it. Pulls it down and picks up a couple. Brought down by Arrington and Marcus Washington. Let's go back to that last possession. It was a completion to Perry. He picks up a 1st down, but at the bottom of your screen, that swing by Runyon erased the 1st down. Then the interception by Marshall. First play from scrimmage. The Redskins hand it off to Clinton Portis, who goes 22 yards and in to put the Redskins on top. But now here are the Eagles with a 2nd down at the Redskins 36, and now McMahon loses the ball. It's out, a flag is down, the Redskins fall on top of it, and it's Joe Salavea. But there is a flag down.
Holding offense, number 73. Penalties decline. 1st down.
So another turnover, and it's Salavea who comes up with the loose football. It's what the Eagles have done a lot of all season long. McMahon put it on the ground, and Salavea comes up with a big recovery for the Redskins, who have it, leading by 4.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
The Redskins with 4 takeaways, and they've scored 14 points off turnovers today. Clinton Portis lost a yard.
Now you go back and you take a look at that quarterback center exchange, and Joe Salavea is over the center, Jamal Jackson, and sometimes when you've got a guy lined up on the nose, the ball can come up a little bit short. I don't know if that's what happened. It could very well be that Mike McMahon just didn't get the ball secured and fumbled it, but they were starting to move the football again and then give the ball right back to the Redskins.
Looked like the hand of Sean Andrews knocked it out of the hand of Mike McMahon at 2nd down and 11. Penalty flag on this play as Portis stays on his feet for a couple of extra yards, picks up 6. But we will check the marker. Keith Adams on that last tackle for the Eagles.
Illegal motion, offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Santana Moss.
Well, this becomes a big possession for this Washington Redskins offense. I think if you look back to last week and what they were able to do at the end of that ball game against the Cardinals, with just under 5 minutes to play, they were able to run the football and take all the time off the clock. Certainly they'd love to put together a drive like that here, but with it being 2nd and long, they're going to be forced to throw.
Both Cooley and Portis are out of the lineup on 2nd down and 16. Betts gets it. Almost broke free. ended up in the arms of Trent Cole and a gain of 4 for Liddell Betts.
It surprises me there a little bit, Joe, that on 2nd and long they didn't throw the ball. Now faced with 3rd and long, are they again going to run the ball and just try to take as much time off the clock and say that our defense is playing well and then try to pin Philadelphia deep? Or are they going to throw the football? I've got to believe that with a veteran quarterback like Brunell, you try to pick up the 1st down here.
Cooley's still on the bench, 3rd down and 12. Brunell in trouble. Goes to the sideline over the head of Thrash, and it's 4th down. We'd like to welcome those of you watching other games. 7:50 left in this one. The storyline pretty simple. The Redskins looking for their 5th consecutive win, a win and they are in, and the Cowboys are eliminated despite their game later tonight at home against St. Louis. A loss, they have to hope that the Cowboys lose to the Rams to get into the playoffs. It's gone back and forth, and the Redskins now have the lead. They've got 14 points off turnovers. They have 4 takeaways today. And as Dexter Wynn hauls in the punt, Liddell Betts makes the tackle. Troy Detmer is going to come in and take over at quarterback for the Eagles, down 4. Troy Detmer has done this over his 9-year career this season. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a quarterback rating of just over 53. And with 7:40 left and the Eagles down by 4, he takes over for Mike McMahon. Detmer swings it out to Moats out of the backfield. And it's Christian Morton, a good open field tackle. No gain on the play. I'll say this for McMahon. He was moving the football, and the Eagles were able to move the ball down the field on this Redskins defense. He did put the ball on the ground in that last possession. The Eagles have turned it over 4 times today, but I don't think he's had any problem finding holes in this defense.
No, I don't think he has either, Joe, and I think it's just a feeling that Andy Reid has that if they're going to be able to win this game, it's going to be Detmer that's going to do it.
2nd down and 10, and the pass to Greg Lewis makes a move, has a 1st down. Picked up 12. Walt Harris forced him out.
Well, for a guy who hasn't really played a lot of football this year, I mean, the last time that he played extensively there against Seattle, did not have a good outing in that game. He's come out here with his first 2 throws and looks pretty good.
6:45 to go in the 4th quarter. McMahon's looking to see who just patted him on the shoulder to give him support. 1st down, Philadelphia. Detmer fires high, incomplete for L.J. Smith. 2nd and 10. What's at stake for the Redskins? They clinch a playoff berth with a win and a trip they would have to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers, who held on to beat New Orleans today. Or if they're going to get in, if they lose today, they have to hope for a Dallas loss tonight against St. Louis. Mark Gordon is now in the backfield on 2nd and 10. Detmer throws, completes it. That's Brown. Short gain of 4 yards. That brings up 3rd and 6.
You know, Joe, I got to believe that, you know, this approach right now with Philadelphia, knowing that they've got to throw the ball in essence to move the ball, has got to be a little bit concerning for Greg Williams, because, you know, as we said, when you're talking about some of these young players that are out there, of course, Walt Harris not a young player, but not a guy who was starting, but due to the injury to Carlos Rogers, and then with Sean Springs not being in there, that's got to be some concern for Greg. 3rd down and 6. Detmer looking for Brown, overthrows everybody. Walt Harris was back there, and it was Taylor with help over the top. 4th down. Well, that was a good stop by this Washington defense, and you know, right now, as I was saying a little bit earlier, there's nothing that Washington would like more than to be able to take this next possession and be able to take time off the clock and run Clinton Portis, and I've got to believe that that's what they're going to try to do, is pound him like what they did last week and try to take as much time off the clock as they can. Portis has had another 100-yard day. Landetta punts it. Antonio Brown on the return. Nowhere to go.
return of 5 yards after a 45-yard punt, and Mike Bartram, the long snapper, on the tackle. Coming up right after this game, the OT. It was an emotional day around the NFL for Brett Favre, Jerome Bettis, and Tony Dungy, of course, plus the latest on the NFL playoff picture, while following football on the OT presented by Lowe's. 5:40 left. Brunell has made it to this point with that bad knee that he told Troy Aikman was stiff and bothering him during the pregame warmups today. On first down, here is Portis. Clinton Portis back to the line of scrimmage. A recap with 5.5 to go. Dexter Wynn muffed a punt. Sellers recovered it for Washington, then scored on a touchdown reception. Reggie Brown has 2 touchdown catches today. And Clinton Portis up over 100 yards. There's that important penalty on John Runyon. Eventually led to a Lamar Marshall interception, and then the Clinton Portis touchdown, which right now is the difference. 2nd and 10. Portis again. Eagles know what the Redskins are going to do. A gain of 2 as Mark Simoneau makes the tackle for Philadelphia.
Well, and that's when it gets really tough for an offense to run the football when you know that that's what you want to do, and when the defense knows that you're going to come out and try to run the football as well. And the Eagles have done a good job of stepping up and shutting them down there on 1st and 2nd down, and now a 3rd down. If they're able to pick this up, then you're talking about them being able to take off another couple minutes off the clock.
Portis is injured as he goes to the sideline. 3rd and 8. Brunell will try to run for it, and those old legs make it. Such a big part of his game with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Certainly isn't as much anymore these days at the age of 35 years old, but he had enough on 3rd and 8 to pick up 12 and a big first down for the Redskins.
Yeah, and on the bad knee, Joe, I mean, he's going to Santana Moss, and he just couldn't get the separation that Brunell wanted him to have. And, you know, Brunell was able to see the hole and then go get it. And, you know, you touched on it a little bit earlier. I'm surprised that he's been able to make it through the game knowing how uncomfortable he was with the knee coming in. But a heck of a job picking up a first down.
That was his first run of the day, a big one. 12 yards, a first down. Handoff is to Liddell Betts. A little bigger back than Clinton Portis. He is out to the 35. Keith Adams on the stop. And Philadelphia will spend one of its 2 remaining timeouts. So the Eagles with 1 timeout left, and football fans in Dallas, Cowboy fans everywhere, wondering if the Eagles have one more thrill in store for them today. Right now down by 4, and it's 2nd down for the Redskins with the ball at their own 35.
Well, you can only imagine for the Dallas Cowboys back there in a hotel room all day long, and then watching that Carolina game. Of course, that game was over very early in the way in which they beat Atlanta. And then watching this one and hoping that the Eagles could pull off the upset. And for a moment there, it looked like they could. In fact, they still can if they can stop this team here. But, you know, if they're not able to, then the Cowboys go into their game not playing for much.
They would go in looking for their 10th win, but they would lose on the tiebreaker with Washington as the Redskins swept the Cowboys this season. 2nd down and 5. Handoff is to Betts. It's going to be 3rd down as Michael Lewis was the first.
Now you go back and you take a look at the injury to Clinton Portis here, and it looked like he may go down. Of course, his back was bothering him earlier. And you know, he was holding his shoulder, so was the hit there at the end or the takedown to the turf on that right shoulder. Of course, he's holding up his left arm there. Hard to determine exactly what it is. I know in talking with him a couple of weeks ago, he said the thing that bothers him the most after ball games is his shoulders, from taking the brunt of the punishment, you know, with his shoulders and his helmet while he's running inside. And, you know, he certainly has taken another pounding here today.
He's got 5 straight 100-yard games on the ground, while the Redskins have won 4 in a row, looking for their 5th. He has 9 100-yard games on the season. That's a franchise record. He set the single-season rushing record for the Redskins franchise today. Big penalty on Runyon in this game. It's 3rd down and 4. The Eagles are out of timeouts. Play action, and Brunell fires out of the reach of Cooley. That brings up 4th down, and it's a big stop for this Philadelphia defense. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey there, Joe. A lot of concern for a while there as Clinton Portis hobbled off the field. The Redskins are describing his injury as a shoulder injury in the context of a burner, perhaps. His return is questionable. Chris Cooley, he got some medical attention before he went out on the field. They're saying he has a slight groin injury. Back to you.
All right. Brunell just threw in his direction, incomplete, so that means that Frost will punt it away. And a fair catch is called for and hauled in by Dexter Wynn. The ball will be marked at the Philadelphia 24-yard line. 3:11 on the clock. No timeouts left. And with a lot of interested eyes in the D.C. area and, of course, down in Dallas, wondering how this last gasp by the Eagles will turn out as Coy Detmer comes back out onto the field.
Yeah, this is pretty much it for them without any timeouts. If they're not able to score, it's going to be over because Washington then would be able to take over possession and just kneel on the ball.
So on 1st down, they're going to put it up. Detmer over the middle. Ball is tipped. Eagles looking for a flag, and they won't get it on Lamar Marshall.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get the call there. It looked to me like Lamar Marshall made contact before the ball got there. Lamar Marshall here in the middle. And he grabbed a hold of him and really wouldn't let L.J. Smith come out of the route. I thought it should have been pass interference.
Instead, it's 2nd and 10. Detmer throws to his right. The pass is complete to L.J. Smith. Out at the 30-yard line, it's 3rd and 5. Some of the Redskins defenders saying that pass skipped in there. But for now, they're ruling it complete. It's 3rd and 5.
And right now, what the Redskins are doing is they're playing a 3 deep here with corners on the outside. Basically, what they call that is a 3 cloud, and it's very difficult then to get the ball to the outside and out of bounds.
Trying to here. The pass is complete for a 1st down to McMullen. Out at the 36, 1st down for Philadelphia. 2.5 to play.
Not very good job there by Christian Morton, knowing that he's got help over the top with Sean Taylor. He can jump that route. He doesn't have to play soft or worry about anybody coming in behind him.
The ball at the Eagle 36. Detmer has it knocked out of his hand. That's being ruled a fumble. The scramble for the loose ball. It's in the arms of Taylor. Sean Taylor will glide to the end zone and jump for the touchdown. Philip Daniels knocked it away. He's had 2 huge games coming in. He makes a big play there for the Redskin defense.
That was a heck of a play by Philip Daniels, getting in there on his backside and going after the football to cut it loose. You called it, Joe. He's had a heck of a run here over the last couple of weeks. Finally healthy, getting after the quarterback, both from his defensive end position as well as inside when he goes to defensive tackle. They needed him to make a play there, and he did.
We welcome in a new audience. With 2:16 left, the Washington Redskins are securing the final spot in the NFC playoff picture. Sean Taylor just scored his first career NFL touchdown. Detmer at quarterback, dropping back, and it was Daniels who has been phenomenal for this defense. 5 sacks his last 2 games, 7 on the season, knocking it free. And Sean Taylor picked it up, ran it back. And with that score, it's 31-20 Washington, and they are on their way to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers next weekend.
And a heck of a job by Philip Daniels as far as just going after the ball. He very easily could have gone after the sack, but instead he went after the ball first and knocked it loose. And there's a good look at Greg Williams. And I think when you talk about a lot of the personnel decisions that Joe Gibbs made when he took over as head coach, and I talked a little bit about it earlier as far as the trade for Portis, bringing in Santana Moss, probably the biggest acquisition that he made was when he was able to recruit Greg Williams to come to Washington and serve as his defensive coordinator, because Joe, as you know, there were about 10 other teams in the National Football League vying for his services.
Including Dallas. 2 minutes, 16 seconds left in this game. If you're just joining us, you're seeing the last couple of minutes of a game that started out with the Eagles flying around making plays, but the 4 turnovers and now 5 on that last, 5 on the day. 5 turnovers on the afternoon and evening led to the undoing of the Eagles, and it's more of the same for Philadelphia. At the half, the Eagles had a 7-point lead, and they looked like the team that wanted this game more at halftime. But in this second half, the Redskins have done just enough. They've scored 21 points off turnovers and now lead it by 11. Kari Campbell with a big hit on that kick return. The last time the Redskins were in the playoffs, 1999. That was the season they were in Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. They will be in Tampa Bay next weekend. The Skins had a chance at a game-winning field goal, but a bad snap on a 52-yard attempt with 1:17 to go ensured the win for the Bucs. And now Joe Gibbs, who is 16-5 in his career in the postseason, appears headed back with an 11-point lead and 2:12 to go. Detmer drops it off and it's knocked down. Ronaldo Wynn got his hands up and batted it away.
You know, and when you talk about Washington, Joe, and obviously they're going to go in as a wild card team and they're going to be playing on the road, but this NFC is really just up for grabs. I mean, I don't know that, certainly they got to win 3 games and they've all got to be on the road in order to get to the Super Bowl. It's going to be hard considering the fact that they've won 5 in a row just to get in, but I wouldn't count them out. I mean, I think any one of the 6 teams in the NFC could go all the way.
The one caveat to that for the Redskins is this pass is incomplete. We're at the 2-minute warning. Is how healthy are the Redskins going to be going into the game against the Bucs next weekend? Portis has been banged up. Sean Springs has been re-injured today. Taylor just blew it open, 31-20. 2 minutes away from their 5th consecutive win and the number 6 seed officially in the NFC playoffs, and a date with the Buccaneers next weekend. Santana Moss, Clinton Portis, Chris Cooley, Mark Brunell, the weapons offensively for this Washington team. Philadelphia out of timeouts with the football. 2 minutes left. Detmer throws and it's picked off. That is the 6th turnover as Ryan Clark comes away with it. His 3rd interception. L.J. Smith, the intended receiver, and that is 6 turnovers by the Eagles. And while they played them tough, they basically handed this game to the Redskins.
Yeah, I would agree, Joe, and that's why they've had the year that they've had. They've just not played very well, and it looked like they may have given themselves a chance to win this football game, but at the end they're just not as good as what the Washington Redskins are. And you got to tip your hat to this defense for Washington, because in the second half they really stepped up, considering how poorly they had played there in that first half. But the turnovers that they have created here in this second half have really been what have allowed the Redskins to go on and win this game.
These 2 teams, talking about the Redskins and the Buccaneers, played Week 10 at Raymond James Stadium November 13th. We were there. It was a great game. You should remember how it ended. Both teams piled up over 330 yards, had a back and forth scoring afternoon in the second half, and then the Bucs won at 36-35 on a 2-point conversion by Mike Allstott. A play that was reviewed, withstood, and there it is, 36-35. So the 2 have met, and they'll take it to each other next weekend.
And it was that game, Joe, that then allowed the Redskins to go on and lose. I say allowed, but they went on to lose the next 3 games, or the next 2 games. So they were on a 3-game losing streak prior to getting things turned around against St. Louis that began this 5-game winning streak that got them in.
To put a wrap on the season for the Eagles, who aren't going to make the playoffs for the first time since Andy Reid's first year. That was 1999, the last time they were under 500. The Eagles, in my mind, they do have to add some players for next year. Main thing is they just have to get healthy. I could imagine them bouncing right back next season and being as good as they were last year.
You know, I agree that they've got to get some guys healthy, but I think they've got some other problems just beyond that. And, you know, then they're giving Greg Williams the Gatorade bath. And, you know, what a great time right now for the Washington Redskins and Joe Gibbs going back to the playoffs. That's what these guys have worked so hard all year long to do. And now the real season's about to begin.
It is the NFL's second season. It's playoff time for the Washington Redskins, going there for the first time since 1999. Congratulations to Joe Gibbs, who in his second year of his return has the Redskins in the playoffs. Back after this.